We're in the garages at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, about to test the Cardinal Coupe. It's a track day designed car for low cost and high speed. Well, the Cardinal's in the trailer. Been driving it all day on and off here at Mid-Ohio with Auto Interest Track Day. It's an amazing project. The object was to make the car light and make it fast and make it relatively cheap. And mostly beyond that, cheap to run. This is the only example so far. They got, at this point, 6 orders for these cars, and I think they're going to be really popular. I enjoyed it a lot because it's got an amazing combination that's lightweight. It weighs 1,800 pounds. That's like 400 or 500 pounds lighter than a spec Miata, people. You thought a Miata was light? And then the engine is an EcoBoost 2.3 liter turbo 4. Sound familiar? That's what comes in the Mustang. It's 300 horse. Behind that is a transmission, drive shaft, rear end. It's all out of a GT350 Mustang. The transmission, the lever goes straight into it. It feels like a big Miata, you know. It really got a good shifter too. The idea of that is it's all dead stock, gonna last forever. If you need repair or parts, you can go get it at a Ford dealer. The weather's gotten a little bit stormy, and so Rob and the team have decided it's time to put it in the trailer. We're gonna head back to the shop. But while running, I enjoyed the combination of the agility and the acceleration that comes from lightweight. Add lightness. When a car's light, it does everything better. Accelerates, stops, turns better. It runs these super sticky Hoosiers, and then they last for days, literally, because the car's so light. It's not like your Camaro, your Mustang, your Corvette, that over 3,000 pounds, over 4,000 pounds, Nissan GTR, GT500 Mustang. That weight causes your car to eat tires, you know this. Eat brakes, eat fuel. Not this thing. It'll just go and go and go. The chassis is a tube chassis. It's really a full-on race car build, but done relatively inexpensively with steel tubing, fabricated control arms, single adjustable shocks. The car is going to run, I think it's going for about $65,000 for the base normal model. And guess what? You don't really even need any more. I was passing everything out there. You know, typical track day cars, GT3, Corvette, the hot Mustang, Shelby Mustang, the Camaro 1LEs, my personal favorites. So we had a great time. We had an alignment issue. The car was real dicey at first, and they straightened that out, settled the handling down. Then the brakes were acting a little funny. There's something going on in the brakes. And then we also had, we made a shock adjustment, which was tremendous. It felt under-damped in the back, turned up the rear shock. Great balance. Then the rains came, and I never got to really get a good, hard, long session like I wanted. We're gonna go next back to the shop, take a look at where they build this. It's Fields Auto Work in Columbus, Ohio. And we're gonna get out of the rain here before we get soaking wet. straight at Mid-Ohio in the Cardinal. Lots of torque coming out of the carousel and down into one. The car comes into the corner nicely because it's light. That's the whole secret to the Cardinal, combined with a stock engine that's making a strong 300 horse. It's a good combination. Into the keyhole. In the transitions is where the weight advantage is most obvious. It changes directions quickly and easily. These street cars, I'm afraid, are big, heavy monsters on a racetrack compared to something that weighs 1,800 pounds. And the lightweight makes it go down the straight. You see us keeping up with that Corvette. And a cool shot of the suspension. It's got long control arms, so it reduces the roll center migration. Just plain race car design ground up. No compromises you see in a street car. All things to like about the Cardinal. Now we're going back into madness. Running fourth gear, it was my choice because this Ford EcoBoost engine is so torquey and has very, very low lag. So the street cars that we're running with in this HPDE are just not able to hang with something that weighs 1,800 pounds through madness. Up over the hills, the jump turn, I call it turn 10, into Thunder Valley. Again, we're torquing it off the corners. I'm using just one gear, which is kind of a shame because the Cardinal's got one of the best shifters I ever felt. It goes straight into the transmission. It's kind of like a little bit more hefty Miata. Around the carousel, that big bump, the car does seem to be able to absorb that, and there are adjustable shocks, so you can make your choices. This is the base model Cardinal. Heading up the front straight again, we're way down in the low 3,000s in some of the slow corners, but this EcoBoost makes full torque all the way down into the low 2,000s. So it's got strong acceleration, and we catch another group of very fast street cars, a 911, a C8 Corvette, and a Z01 Camaro, and we're kind of waiting for them through the carousel. The car has compliance, and the suspension works well on the bumps, but it seems to have very little body roll at the same time, which is a nice combination and another advantage of the lightweight. Cardinal on the straightaway, no wings, it generates some downforce underneath, so it's very low drag. This car's got some good top speed. We're getting in the low 130s in my first exposure here. This is early on in the run. It was a little loose for my taste, and I recommended some alignment changes and a little bit on maybe the brake system to reduce the oversteer a little for my taste. And we're back in behind a BRZ going up through madness again. This is probably the strongest point on the course for the car because it changes directions so easily. And this car is analog, total analog. The manual steering, manual brakes, no nannies, no stability control, it's all you. And it's very adjustable, so it's easy to make this car more of what you want, right? Including, God forbid, tuning the engine, because the great thing is the stock engine is reliable. It's all aluminum, and it's light. Transmission and the rear end are both out of the GT350R, so they're hauling around 2,000 pounds less weight. Did you hear me? 2,000 pounds less weight. So the Cardinal basically destroys regular street cars on track, and maybe not in the ultimate lap time on something really good, but after 5 or 10 laps, weight takes its toll on the tires. And any racer will tell you, you got to make the tires last to stay fast. So an enjoyable car to drive, and I have to recommend it.